Hi, welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life. How are you doing, Dave?
How you doing, Chris? Well, excellent.
All right. We'll get that down someday here.
We will get it down someday. We've had all sorts of microphone problems this morning. I've got some weird thing happening with my mic. The volume control's going up and down on its own.
Yeah.
I think it's possessed. So, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. So, yeah, hopefully this one comes out. And
if only we knew how to fix electronics or something.
Well, yeah. I
guess that's software,
we need
though.
We need to learn more Penguin geek
stuff.
Yeah. At least I do, so yeah. Right. So what do we got on the cards for today, Chris?
Oh, my goodness, we have a ton of stuff. But let's
go.
Run through some shout-outs first, huh?
Oh, well, there's an event coming up, which I forgot to mention last week. They're in Sydney, so only people in Sydney, which is pretty rare to announce an event in Sydney. There's an electronics show called Electronics, and it's on for 2 days, September 8th,
you'll be there, right?
9th. And I will be there. I'll be the dork walking around with the tripod and the camera, and I'll have a media pass, and I'll probably film a thing for the blog. So,
all right, shout out reward if you snap a picture of a nerd with a tripod.
Yes, absolutely. if you can snap a photo of me, in my
the Dave sightings
dorkiness, then yes, there you go.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll be there. I'm not sure which day yet, but I'll definitely be there. So
maybe you'll
electronics.
Maybe we'll get covered in Element 14 again. I saw you were in that.
Yes, I was in Element 14. That's a new magazine out, which is the Element 14 Journal. It's their second edition, and I've got an article in there on my Fluke 28, how I
tossed it around,
destroyed it, and I tossed it around in a canyon. And it's a 2-page article with a real dorky photo head of me and a photo of me abseiling down the waterfall.
Yeah.
And, we can put a link up to it so you can see it. If you don't, it's actually a hard copy printed mag, which they send to people. But you would think it's the Element 14 manual, right? But you try to go to the Element 14 website and find it. I bet you can't.
Right,
well, I couldn't. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. But
well, it's just their old format, I think. I think they base it basically like, they're like, oh, well, we're printing this, and we'll just make it a PDF. That's digital, right?
Yeah, but why? It's not linked on their main Element 14 page is beyond to me. It's probably in there somewhere, but the Element 14 site's pretty convoluted. It tries to be all things to all people. It sort of meshes a blog with a discussion forums,
right? Everyone's got a blog.
Forums and everyone has a blog, and you don't know whether. And then there's channels, and you don't know. Like I've posted stuff on there, and I don't know whether to post things in the channel or in the discussion or in the road test discussion forum or whether in my own channel. It's just nuts. Anyway,
I've seen that system they've used before, and it's kind of confused. I think it's like a full package system. That's why it's like developed all together. So whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
They'll figure it out when people stop going there.
Well, I mean, there's some good discussions and stuff going on there. But if you can find them, that's the main thing, I guess. Is that they're just next to impossible to find. So.
Yep.
There you go. Element 14. Look out for it. I'm in there.
Yeah. Post it up on your walls. You can hang it up.
Yes.
Physical copy. Well, you posted another thing about the Mitch Altman talk. I saw that on your blog too.
The Mitch Altman talk, yes. The if you don't know Mitch Altman, he's the inventor of the TV Be Gone,
and also those glasses too. What are those pulsing light glasses for? Yeah,
the pulsing light glasses and some brainwave reader or something that as well. And I also posted up a talk from Adafruit as well, and that's on how to start your own open source hardware business. And
nice.
I highly recommend you listen to that podcast. Especially the Mitch Altman one's very interesting. He actually talks about how to do what you love, i.e. how to take a product, your own product, to market and make it your life.
Sounds relevant to you.
Well, it does. And he's a rather weird, he's a rather interesting character because he's so passionate about not watching TV that he wanted to sort of, it wasn't just doing this cool gadget. He wanted to it's his goal, I think. I don't quote me, but it's like his goal. What come across to me is that it's his goal to stop people wasting their lives watching TV. Hence his TV Be Gone product. And,
I've read about it before, and I think it was like him and a couple friends that kind of were at dinner one night, and he said everybody was kind of looking over at the TV, and it really kind of made him angry, and he wished he could switch it off, but
made it angry. So he did. He developed this product, and he goes through all the trials and the pitfalls of actually developing a product. And it took him like a year or something. I mean, it's a little 8-pin micro with an LED with one button and an LED, right? And an infrared LED. But it took him doing the custom case and everything. And I think by the time he actually pushed the button to go into production, he said it cost him about $30,000 or $40,000 or something. It's crazy, and that's not like, chump change. I think he was very lucky, and there's much cheaper ways to do that for 1/10 or 1/100th of the cost of what he did it. So, don't sort of think that you have to spend that sort of money to bring a product with one button and one LED and one micro to market.
Right. Well, you
can spend $30,000.
Start by making one at a time if you can pocket or swallow the the one cost instead of many costs.
Oh, which isn't much these days to do something like that, because he designed a fully custom case and everything, and things like that. And he had a lot of help, and he talks about patents and as I have in a recent blog as well. And,
we talked about it here too.
Timely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's I highly recommend you listen to it. I've also got a link to the video of it, but it didn't seem to be working yesterday, so we'll have to post that.
Okay. Yeah, that'll definitely be in the blog. So if you're listening and you have access to a computer or an iPhone or anything, click on through. Yep. Well, those guys are
someone was...
Oh, go ahead.
I think someone was complaining that they couldn't get this the Amp Hour podcast on their iPhone. Something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, if so, let us know.
No, sorry. No, it wasn't. No, it might have been my blog or something. I don't know. Anyway.
It's early
sorry,
there.
I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
When you've got two blogs, it's
yes.
Two things.
How can we keep it all separate? There's just so many autographs, and that's how it is, right, Dave?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, when you're a YouTube
we're big time
celebrity.
now with
yes,
couple. Well, we love everybody who listens, though. Anyways, onto a place that actually is pretty big. Make Magazine has a new podcast. Not new. I just never knew about it. I was kind of searching out podcasts myself, kind of just looking to see what else is around. And Make has a really great podcast, and it's video and a couple cool tutorials. Well produced.
Yeah, I've seen it. A lot of the because they work full time on it. They've got full time employees.
Yeah.
I think Colin. Sorry, I forget his last name. He's actually a fan of my blog, and he actually watches it, and we tweet occasionally.
Oh, cool.
He does the videos.
Well,
he does some, and that other guy, I think his name is Kay. He does a lot of the these teardown, how to make things from nothing. Well, I guess that's a make thing, but his videos get hundreds of thousands of views, and how to make a little laser death pointer or something like that out of something you got from the supermarket.
Right. Yeah, well, I had never seen it before.
He works full time on those.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before. That's pretty cool that they had those. So
it's
thing
good.
To check out.
It's good. It's sort of not really a consistent thing like mine. It's kind of different. It's kind of they'll have somebody do one and somebody do another, and they'll link in other people's videos and stuff like that. So it more is I guess a blog is traditionally either saying something yourself or submitting other material, showcasing other material you've found and things like that. Whereas mine's all generated by me. So I'm a one-man band, whereas they're a big full-time business now, Make Magazine. So good on them. Yeah, they've certainly got the resources to do it. So
well, speaking of things people have found online, how about our logo? We have a new logo now.
We do have a new logo.
Yeah. So it's actually, if you go to the theamphour.com/link here, we have a couple cut and pastable pieces of HTML you can stick in your site. There's big ones and small ones and things that have text on them. So
yeah, and it's basically a Earth globe thing with a microphone going around the globe, and it's got Sydney, Australia, and Cleveland, Ohio there in the US. So
it's got everything, and circuit board in the middle too.
Yeah, and also we'll post photos of our. Well, I haven't done it yet. I'll post a photo of my little recording studio, I guess you could call it here.
Yes.
Which is rather unusual today. I was annoyed by the echo last week because I'm in a tiny little room with square walls and no other furniture apart from the desk, really. So it echoes pretty badly. So I've put some. I've taken apart the lounge and I've put some cushions up behind my monitor. And,
I haven't seen pictures of this yet, but I cannot wait.
Right.
It's gonna look like a fort.
Oh, not quite. There's only 2 cushions there. I didn't go.
Maybe next time you can have like a little.
I'll add some extra cushions.
So
hopefully it's not as echoey this time. But
sounds good. Yeah.
But if you're thinking about doing your own podcast, just think about that. Echo is a big thing. You know, you really have to go to a fair bit of effort to stop echoes in most rooms. You know, you could put up heavy curtains and egg cartons on the wall and.
I always love when I learned about echo, I never really realized what it was. That it's just a phase shift. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yep.
But echo is just, or maybe that's reverb. Reverb is just a phase shift.
Yeah.
Echo is actually the sound wave bouncing back, but then you get like the interference and everything and the phase shifting. It's pretty cool, and that's actually how you can do it in software too. You can do it in software, but it's hard to take out. So if your recording's got an echo in it, it's not. That's true. That's true.
Not easy to take out. So, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, you may have your you may have $1,000 microphone, but it's going to be no good if you're sitting in a crap room. So, it's all important. But, I still don't think my audio here is perfect. But anyway.
Well, any tips, send them over to Dave or me, and we'll try and get them in here.
More cushions. More cushions. I'll be surrounded.
Yeah, I know.
Surrounded with cushions.
I'm telling you got to build a fort. You'll be fine.
Okay, next time I have to take another photo.
Yeah.
Anyway, that photo will be up. So
okay, good.
There you go.
So I got an email from Bill Mira. He's the guy that does Solder Smoke. Like I said before, I was reaching out for other people that had podcasts, and we had talked to him, or we had talked about the show before, and I was kind of reading through some of his back issues and listening to some of his older podcasts. And he's actually been in Rome for the past couple of years because he's a diplomat. And he said he's...
right, okay.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. What a great, not side job. I guess podcasting is his side job, and talking on the radio is a side job, or building radios because he's a ham guy. But, he's been in Rome, and now he's on his way back to Washington, he said. So he's for all those listeners out there that have been waiting for him, he's on his way back, and he's getting his stuff soon, he said. So we'll be looking to interface with him a lot, hopefully.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I've known about Solder Smoke for years because they've posted stuff on the forums and various things. And I don't think I've listened to a full one because it is very ham radio sort of oriented, I think. But they put a lot of effort into that, and they sort of pioneered the whole thing.
Oh yeah, and from an analog perspective, those guys are just rock stars. I mean, they can take like a transistor, a rubber band, and then like bounce it off the stratosphere and be talking to India.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I know. Yep, that's so different to what I do. It's just
maybe someday though.
Not an RF. It's
just like an oscillator, right, and stuff, an antenna.
Well, basically, RF. I'm not an RF guy. That's not my thing. So,
right.
The amp hour. I think one of them. Don't quote me on this, but I think one of them died a couple of years back.
Oh.
Was tragically killed or something, or something happened. I do remember that. There was 2 of them. It started out with 2 of them. They were just ham radio operators, discussing something. And I think, geez, I hope I didn't get that wrong. Sorry if I did. But, I think that's what may have happened, which is pretty tragic.
Yeah.
But obviously, they're still going. So
well, they'll be back on the air soon, so that's good. And hopefully we can bounce ideas back and forth with them, podcasting-wise. And
Yep.
Oh, excellent. And we're almost through our list of shout-outs. Shout-outs today have been extensive. They're all over the place. Have you seen so Matt Metz, he, I don't know how to say his site, Cibo Mato. I'll put a link on. But
I've seen the poster you're talking about.
Yeah, it's about like resistors and the resistor colors. I didn't realize I never saw the YouTube video, and then I saw it had like 12 million views, and I never got.
Oh right, I haven't seen the YouTube video.
Yeah,
you'll have to send me that one.
Oh yeah, it's he links to it on his site. It's like some guy like freaking out about a double rainbow, but like there's all these catchy memes and blah blah blah, and so he did that with resistor colors. But he's selling that. So if memes and resistors are your thing, you can jump on that poster real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And is that the end? No, we've got one more shout out, do we?
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry Ellsworth again.
Yeah, you've talked about her before, but I never...
Our favorite chick.
Yeah, I've never realized she had a live podcast just by herself, and I clicked over to that when I was looking the other day, and that's, hopefully the shout-outs will be less next time, because I've hopefully found all the podcasts out there, but yeah, it was just like her working at her workshop. It was really weird. And
they always get about like 30 people watching her, fix a pinball machine or something, or just, even if she isn't there, the nerds just chat among themselves, Oh, sorry, scientists, they're called.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm a nerd.
She has a name for people who watch her program, and they're scientists.
Well, I'm a nerd, so I might not be allowed.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
You must become a scientist to, yes... be on the forum there. Yeah. But hello to everyone on the Jerry Ellsworth forum. They all love playing with the Dave voicebot chat.
Oh yeah,
thing.
Yeah, that's right. You've talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm going to have to play. I'm going to have to actually get my keyboard. I'm going to have to program it up, and I'm going to have to play some of my
that's good.
sounds. And
hopefully we'll
I'll
see.
Probably have to do it on video though.
Yeah.
So
well, that works too.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
So the what
else have we got?
One last
we
event.
Got open source.
Hardware.
Oh yes.
Have you heard about that?
Open source hardware conference. I've heard about the. I haven't heard about the conference, but I've heard about their. They're coming up with this new open source.
Like a draft, right?
Like a draft, of what actually open source hardware is.
Yeah, I think there's actually a copy of the draft on the website. If we'll link that too. But I think Phil Terone. He started it, and there's a couple other edits and stuff, and this is kind of like, you look at the list, and it's like, whoa, these people that's like all that's like everybody. So it's like $40 to get in.
It's pretty much the who's who of the open source hardware industry. All these $10 million companies are, all their owners are all going to be there. But I've got to have a little rant here. I'm sorry, but I don't necessarily agree with their definition of open source hardware.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, here we go. Because they're saying that it must be under the Creative Commons, which is great.
Yes.
Okay, but it must not be the non-commercial version. It must only be the attribute only. That means that you can't apparently call your product open hardware, according to them, at least, if you use the non-commercial attribute of the license, which means that basically everyone's, you're giving all your information for free.
Right.
It's open. That's my complaint, is that you're opening your hardware. It's completely open, same as all the other licenses, but you don't allow anyone else to make money from it, which I think is quite reasonable.
Right.
I don't.
So can you give an example there?
All the info open.
So can you give an example of how that would work? I mean, so you're saying right now, give the old way and the way that you don't like.
Okay, the standard way is the attribution only. Okay. As I've mentioned this on my blog. There's 6 different types of the license, and the standard one is the attribution only. So you put your information out there, make it open. Everyone's free to copy it, make money from it. Do whatever they want. All they have to do is give you credit for it.
Okay.
That's it. But there is also a non-derivative version. So no one's allowed to make a derivative product.
So if you make a widget, they can't make widget 2.0. Right.
Exactly. But that one is allowed under their... So they're the two that are allowed under their open source definition.
Okay.
Open source hardware definition. But there's a third option, which is to actually have a non-commercial thing applied to it, which means the information's exactly the same. It's open, but you are not. But nobody is allowed. Nobody but you, the copyright holder, is allowed to make money from it.
Okay, so then it's like widget internal information is out there. You know how the guts of it work, but you can't.
Yep.
You can't produce your own.
You can, but you're not allowed to make a profit from it.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Just like, let's say the Arduino, right? That is under the standard attribution only. So you're allowed to make money. You can start
That's why there's
selling
20 different or different kit companies, right?
20 different kit companies with Arduinos, and that's great to fuel that industry. But if it's just your one little product, you've got a product for a niche market or something like that, I think it's reasonable that some people might want to actually have the non-commercial aspect to it, so that somebody doesn't come along and and actually sell the same product and undercut you on price and push you out of the market. So I don't
okay, I get
really
it. I didn't realize what side you were coming down on, but now I get it from that. So now it's like now it's almost like the kit makers are getting to the size where they're trying to open it all up, that their volumes are making it worthwhile for them to say these things.
Exactly. Like if I have a new open source product and I release it under their open source definition,
open hardware,
which does not open hardware, that doesn't include the non-commercial license, then Adafruit or SparkFun are free to go, oh, we love that kit, we'll make it ourselves.
Instead of paying any licensing or anything like that, right?
Exactly, and how am I supposed to compete with them? The only way I can protect it is to, or you, if you're making your open hardware product, is to trademark the name, and then they're not allowed to use the name. But they can copy your PCB, they can copy everything. Right. But, well,
that's kind of interesting because you come down on the side of not liking patents, but that's almost like halfway to a patent. You know what I mean? It's not exactly a patent, but it sort of is.
Oh, well... no. I don't agree, because you're still giving. Well, you are kind of.
You're opening it up, but I mean, you do that with the patent too. You say, okay, well, here's all my information. Then the patent office says, okay, here's your patent, and no one else can make that, which isn't really true. So, I understand what you're saying.
Well, but the patent, you don't actually give away all of your actual files to manufacture it.
True.
Whereas an open source, you're giving away your PCB file, your schematic, your bill of materials, your whole, your whole enchilada. So,
well, maybe there's more to it that we don't know about it, though. Like maybe there's a reason for all that.
Maybe there is. Yeah,
well, I'll tell you.
I'm sure there is a reason.
So there's a chance I might be going to it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah,
well,
so
find out then, if you do.
I'd probably try and get some sound clips while I'm out there, and
all right.
I'm actually going out for something else in Boston, but hopefully I'll be there around that time. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So if anyone else is going, let me know too. I don't know who's listening and might be going, but if you are, please shoot me an email or leave a message on the blog. So, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that'd be great. So I'm not necessarily against their definition. I just want to know their reasoning behind it, because I think there's, I just don't
you're right.
understand
That immediately pushes it. That pushes it towards a big fish eats little fish kind of situation again.
It does, because Adafruit or SparkFun could come out and manufacture your kit and put you out of business overnight. And
it's like a micro scale. It's like a micro economy.
So it doesn't really protect the little guy, and I'm.
The serfs are beginning to riot.
Protection. Sorry,
I said the serfs are beginning to riot.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I'd love to know the reasoning behind that.
Yeah,
so,
hopefully we'll hear that in the coming
I'm sure
weeks.
It's very philosophical argument, that, it should be because it worked for the Arduino and all that sort of stuff.
Right, yep.
And but I don't, there's no one blanket rule for all things. That's why the Creative Commons licenses has 6 different options in it.
Yeah.
It allows you to pick and choose which one. So I think as long as you use the Creative Commons license, heck, it should be open. But anyway,
I'm going to make a prediction real quick. I think we're going to have a good bit of fun talking in a year or two from now when these kit makers start eating each other. Either they get into brawls because you see this coming with any company, or they're going to start buying each other. So keep an eye out here.
That could happen.
You
Once
heard it
they
here
reach
first.
a critical mass, I mean, some of these companies are big. They're like $10 million.
Yeah.
Spark Fund is a $10 million plus
I could see them
company,
eating anyone.
I think. So,
Or-
once they get taken out, bought out by someone, heck, I don't blame, if the founder of Spark Fund, sold out, I certainly wouldn't blame him,
Right.
to build up a company. And once you sell out, that's... you lose your core values and things like that. And
Right. Or we're going to see like bigger
knows?
vendors like the Farnells or the DigiKeys going and buying them because then they have a part source automatically too. And they just get all the customers.
That's the thing. Farnells and DigiKey are getting into this business. Farnell have a new Arduino compatible board.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it. It's called
I'll have to check that out.
It's not called Arduino because it's
just the pinouts are? Yeah.
The board is exactly the same. It's their compatible. So they've taken it because
Right.
it's there's no license that says you can't manufacture your own.
Yeah.
And so it's in the latest Farnell catalog, the monthly flyer thing.
Okay.
So I'm sure I can post a link to that.
Yeah, if you see a link,
every man
definitely
his
post
dog is
that.
copying the Arduino. So who do you buy it from? Which one do you buy? They're all going to fight each other on price. So I think you might be.
And then China will jump in too.
In some. Yeah, well, exactly.
Yep.
Someone from, but then you can't stop China. It doesn't matter which license you use.
It's
so
all over.
yeah.
Well, speaking of, that's a good segue. I'm actually, I talked to a friend who lives in China, and I am thinking about trying to learn Mandarin for business and fun and profit, I guess.
Right. Yep.
I mean, like, how is that not a good idea, right? I mean, I've tried it once before.
Well, exactly. We've at work, in our hardware group, we've got a guy who speaks Mandarin, and that's pretty much essential.
Yeah.
Really. When you're buying parts from all these Asian online dealers, and he sits there in the chat window and always Skype and talks to them in Mandarin. It's just
it's pretty
huge
crazy.
advantage. So
yeah. I mean, it's just a reality of. I mean, we're kind of switching away from the microcosm of hobbyist market to the macrocosm of electronics industry, but it's going to happen. I mean, like, and then you see these I have this other article here about, people wondering, Samsung, there's all these articles about how Samsung's meant to outpace Intel in 2014. It's like, well, of course they are. You think you're going to keep buying stuff from Asian suppliers over and over again, and then you're going to be like, oh, I don't know how this happened. Oh, what happened to us here? So. Yeah. And,
well, let's talk about that Samsung Intel thing, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's.
Well, if you haven't seen it, we'll post a link once again. We're fond of posting links here on the Amp Hour, and basically there's a new theamphour.com. There's this graph, and there's some conference thing. Some guy proposed that Samsung, within, I think, 2014, 2015?
Yeah, 2014.
Will surpass Intel in sales. And they've got this graph, and you can see how they actually converge. And it's obvious that, it's happening based on the sales data of the two companies and things like that. And you can see, I like the difference started out being as high as... It started out being as high as 400%. Difference in the sales of the two companies. Now it's 27%, and it's going consistently going down. So
they're good at making stuff.
Well, because Samsung make a lot of DRAMs and flash memories and things like that. So
they're getting into the market too. I mean, they make the iPhone chip right now, I believe, too. The A4 ARM processor for the iPhone.
Yep, the A4 one. I think they might. Yeah. So they make pretty much anything you can think of. They're probably involved in it. So
and they get the pricing power too. With like when you think about the people that actually make the equipment that makes chips, then I mean, why wouldn't you want to sell to Samsung? I mean, they're monstrous. So
exactly.
And the crazy thing...
So you might think the average consumer, you might think, they just make, TVs or something like that. No, they're huge in the semiconductor business. So
and the really crazy thing is they make everything over there. There's toilets. There's Samsung cars.
Oh, really?
They are 1/3 of the South Korean GDP.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, they're just conglomerate. They're like one of the biggest conglomerates in the world. So don't think you're going to mess with them. You think Intel's big, and they are big. Don't get me wrong. Intel's not going away, much to AMD's chagrin, even though they released that new product or the new chip line. Intel's not going away, but Samsung's getting bigger, and there's a lot of other companies from China on their tail. I guarantee you that. So.
And all the more reason for the US to protect South Korea. Then I guess there you go. It's a bit of politics.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really have any opinion on that.
Oh, I've got an opinion on everything, but we won't go there.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, there's one thing that we're definitely not protecting, and that's of course jobs. So that's another article I have here is just about, there's it's a EDN article actually about from the Now Hear This blog, but just how there's repeated ignoring of technology requests for funding about technology and STEM programs and everything. It's just, one day, they did this with, there's a lot of shock and outrage that, oh my God, Samsung's going to be bigger than Intel. Well, there's a lot more that's going to happen than that. So if you happen to be a politician and you're listening to this, I guarantee you're not. But if you happen to be, wake up and smell the coffee, people. If you don't start, you should have started funding things 10 years ago. It's already too late. So
20 actually.
20, so, probably. Yeah. You should have started when China opened up to capitalism, and it's a little too late. But there's still time. You can still get some niche industries. I got cussed out for not saying niche right yesterday. I always say niche. Yep. But
that's all right.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still time, but they're not doing very well right now.
Well, I think the US government has always, the US industry has always thought, well, we're too big to fail.
Right.
I think that's probably the old-fashioned, we're too big to fail. Nobody's ever going to come up and beat us. And that's been true for 20 years, but that's clearly not the case anymore, and they're going to get bitten. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's even worse than that. I just saw this other article I linked here. So there's another article about TSMC now coming to. They're in Boston. They're recruiting there. So now they're coming back. So all these young students from Taiwan, mainland China, South Korea, they all come over to the U.S. They have spectacular grades. They're great students. They get into MIT and Harvard and all these awesome schools. And now TSMC is coming back and recruiting them right back over to Taiwan. And it's like,
that's
of course
hilarious.
They're going to do that. Of course, why wouldn't they? They got the. I mean, and believe me, that's not going to last very long because the schools in China are getting so much better that they don't need to. But they're coming over here, and now because of the the H-1B, I don't even want to get into that stuff, but the visa policies and everything like that, it's just easier for them to come over here and recruit all these kids back who are brilliant. And it's like,
exactly.
What?
Double
where'd
whammy.
they go?
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Oh, losing the people, people taking the places in the universities that could be training, training Americans.
No, that's the thing, though. I mean, like the people that are the kids that are coming over here, and they deserve to be here. They're brilliant kids,
of course.
They're doing the research that needs to be done, and yet there's just not anything here for them to stick around. So. See you later. They're recruiting 1,000 kids this year. So if you speak Chinese, you're in a good place right now. If you do technology and you speak Chinese, you might not make as much in the U.S., but you're not going to be paying as much to live over there either. So,
absolutely.
That's another one where Chris got worked up. Oh boy.
Oh, he's going internally berserk again.
Oh yeah. Gentlemen. Well, I'll spend all my or my energy hopefully learning Mandarin. But if you never thought of it, start thinking about it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I don't think I'll go there. I suck at foreign languages. I really do. There's no way I'm going to be able to learn it. But
Dave, have you tried English? That sounds like a foreign language to you.
English? Oh well, yes.
Apparently, I don't speak Aussie.
No, you don't speak Australian. Or strine, as it's called here.
Really?
Strine.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay, never heard about that one.
Strine. Because we slur our words together, so Australian becomes strine.
Nice.
Strine.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So, and it's interesting, the further towards the centre of Australia you get, the more slurring the words, the faster they talk and the more the words get slurred together. So,
wow. Do you have an impression for us?
It's the same in the US when you go, oh, no, I know.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay,
no.
okay. Yeah, it gets.
I think
down,
I'll get lynched.
As you get south, it gets kind of drawly.
Yeah, the southern. Yeah, the southern.
Hey y'all, I'm from
southern
Texas.
US exactly.
I used to live in Texas.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howdy. All right. Nice little tangent there.
Yes. Well, that brings up the jobs market and things like that. That brings up an interesting. I think we had that as one of our discussion points here. Is that how the jobs are declining and how graduates are supposed to be like what is it, 1 in 70?
That was in the UK. Yeah. There was.
That was in the UK, was it? Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's crazy. It's nothing like that here. I mean, it's.
Oh, really?
I don't know where they're getting that. Yeah, I don't know where they're getting their general figures from, but I'm sure it's nothing like that in the US either.
Well, I don't even know, but I think a lot of that could have been inflated too. Because when you have, I mean, in the U.S. at least, it's 10% unemployment. So you got to figure for every job, people are throwing a resume at it, regardless of if it fits or not. So a lot of that is actually noise, exactly. I think. So maybe.
Yeah, I think it is
30.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much signal to noise ratio there.
Right,
I think.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. And, well, interestingly, what I wanted to talk about today is I got a new Amazon Kindle.
Oh, really?
The brand new Amazon Kindle 3, and I'm going to have to do a review of it, but I am absolutely gobsmacked. But before I talk about that, which wasn't on the list here, sorry, I've thrown this in as an aside.
That's
Don't want to throw you there, Chris.
Off the cuff, Dave. Off the cuff.
Yeah, off the cuff. That's it. We do have a list of stuff we might talk about in the podcast, but there's certainly no script and no logical order, that's for sure. So here we go. I've thrown in from left field the Amazon Kindle, which I think is a game changer. But before I get my original reason to bring it up was jobs, because the Amazon Kindle is designed by a company called Lab 126. It's lab126.com.
Okay.
And they're a company. They're an R&D. Company. And
like e-ink and everything, right?
The e-ink display. Well, they use the e-ink display. They don't do the e-ink display.
Oh, okay, that's separate.
But they just manufacture the Amazon Kindle. They actually designed it. I'm sure they write the software as well, but they design the hardware and write the software. And they do the whole kit and caboodle. And if you go to their website and you look at the careers button, the list of jobs they have. There's got to be 50 or more of them. I'm not even going to count them. It's ridiculous. Firmware engineers, lead performance engineers, software development engineers, quality. There's a few managers, but most of them hardware engineers. There's RF systems engineers. There's a university recruiter position. So not only are they looking for graduates, they're looking for a full-time university recruiter.
Wow. I guess they need some people. And you see, I just spotted one audio system engineer. That means I guess they're bringing sound to it soon, huh?
Well, yes, the Kindle does sound. It plays MP3s brilliant. Yes, it's got lovely speakers on it. I tell you, I'm going to have to do... I looked. There's not many reviews on the Kindle 3.
Oh.
It's amazing, so I'm going to have to do one.
Yeah.
I'll probably do a teardown as well, but my wife might kill me if I take it apart. So I'll probably do a separate review and a teardown.
Yeah, maybe once you get the Kindle 4, you can do a teardown.
Exactly.
Or another 3.
This is amazing. I mean, I've heard about this e-ink screen, which they use, but I've never actually seen one. And this is the latest generation. And I'm telling you, I am absolutely gobsmacked. And I've been looking at the LCD technology progress for the last 30 years, and this is a game changer. I tell you.
Really? You think?
It is that. I mean, it's not gonna surpass LCD, but it enables niche applications like this, and in that respect, it's a game changer. So it enables. This thing has got a 1-month battery life.
I know that. Okay, that is spectacular.
That is insane. That is what sold me on this. And even if you turn on the Wi-Fi, it's got Wi-Fi and mobile phone GSM reception. It's like 3 weeks, even with that.
Really?
But the e-ink display, and you open the box, okay? You open the box, and there on the screen, welcome. It's already
just like shipping like that.
Exactly, it ships like that because it's not actually switched on because the image retains its, it actually retains the image even with the power off. So they actually ship it and you get it out of the box and you think it's one of those peel off, one of those stickers,
the plastic things.
But it's not. It's the real screen. And this is a radio show. I can't show you, but if you haven't looked at the new generation Kindle 3, have a look at the screen. It is gobsmacking.
Yeah.
So,
do you know how that works?
There you go.
Have you ever?
I did look into it once. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's carbon particles or something. There's little particles. They're suspended in some fluid or something like that. And when you polarize it one direction, they float to the surface, and then the light gets reflected off the black particles. So you see that as a black dot, and
I think they actually
off the other way, it sinks.
Oh, okay. I thought some of them. I thought they rotated, but that makes sense too. I thought they had rotated. Oh well, one side
I'm
to the
not
other.
sure of the exact. Yeah, I haven't actually looked at the exact thing, so don't.
It's cool. I mean, it's really cool, but
it's very cool. It's completely different to LCD technology, and I'm telling you, you cannot see the pixels on here.
Yeah.
It is insanely good, and it looks like a real sheet of paper, and it has a true 180-degree spherical angle.
Yeah,
you
viewing
can
angle.
view it. It's just
Yeah.
It is nothing like it looks like a real bit of paper. It's just.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible. Anyway, I am absolutely gobsmacked, and I'm still trying to figure out all the features of this thing, but
that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, I know they started putting textbooks on. I know some of the people at my alma mater, they actually started using that for textbooks.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've only got the smaller screen version. I've got the Art of Electronics on here as a PDF document, but because it's formatted as like a large size book, it doesn't fit on the screen very well. You can still read it, but it's very small font, so you can zoom in and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not as convenient. So if you do want one of these Kindles to view, data sheets, PDFs, and books that aren't formatted for the 6-inch screen, then by all means get the 9-inch version. So,
can people play the amp hour on that thing? Can you do podcasts through that?
Well, it can play MP3s, but it's got it sounds really good, but there's no actual media player in it, so all you can do is turn it on. Actually, I'll turn it on now. Here we go.
Man, Dave does love this thing, doesn't he?
Oh, hang on. I've got to switch it on first. There we go. That helps. It's confusing because it had an image on the screen. It was switched off, so I thought it was actually on.
Yeah.
I press Alt Spacebar, and there you go. Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al.
Hang on. I've got the complete collective works of...
There's something weird in the fridge today. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
All
right. Well, there we go.
Not
we
too
don't
much,
want to
Dave.
get caught for copy. Yeah, we don't want to get caught for copyright, do we?
We can't afford it. We can't afford it.
Yeah, so my Kindle has the complete collective works of Weird Al Yankovic on it.
Nice. Very nice. I'm sure he'll love the shout-out. I'm sure he's listening, too.
Yes, love your Weird Al.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites.
He's
brilliant.
Classic. I always love do you ever see the movie UHF?
I haven't seen that in 20 years or something.
So good. I have it on DVD.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, right. That reminds me. I'll have to I'll have to get it again and watch it. So, yeah. There you go. All right, that's the Amazon Kindle anyway.
All right. Yeah, that's the gadget review of the year for the
gadget
Amp Hour.
Review of the year. Yeah, because radio doesn't.
Let's Talk Geek guys or the Leo Laportes of the world.
Yes, radio doesn't lend itself to product reviews, I'm afraid. So
yeah, that's still pretty cool though. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, I'm stoked. So I don't get excited about products like that too often. What else have we got?
Let's see. Well, so I've been kind of getting into like the creativity side of things lately, kind of reading about that. And I saw a really interesting article today about the creative economy. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard snippets about this, and I've seen the link you sent through, and well, tell us about it.
Well, basically it's that, from now on, I mean, you think about what we even talked about on here today about we were talking about the kit manufacturers and how when China gets their hands on it, it's all over, right? And basically it's true. I mean, manufacturing is a commodity. Electronics are a commodity. And now they're saying that even knowledge is a commodity, to the point that, we talked about that too. The students are getting so good. There's so many students worldwide that have learned so much so you think about the availability of information today. So take the art of electronics. Maybe if that book was around 40 years ago, due to the availability of books and, cultures and everything else, only a small percentage of the world have access to that book. But now, today, in 2010,
it's all out there. Yeah.
It's all out there. It's in 30 different languages. It's easily, people can rip that off the internet easily, just as easily as they can get it, from a bookstore. And now, so that information is everywhere. So now knowledge is the new commodity, basically.
Well, knowledge is, but it requires more than knowledge. I think talent is the real economy. Because, you've got millions of engineering graduates, right, spewing out of the universities all over the world. But are they talented? Are they, they've got their basic education, but that doesn't mean that they're actually good at actually doing anything.
Right. That makes me question if I'm good, though, too, Am I talented? I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
It's because that's been my experience. In general, I don't know what the percentage is, but probably we're pushing over 90% of the people I meet who graduate engineering degrees just don't have a clue, and they don't have any interest, and they don't, and it's sad, and they all end up in sales, or they just go on to something else, and it's I don't know if that's getting worse these days or whether it's getting better with, as you say, with all the knowledge that's out there, and people encouraging this sort of, being creative and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's getting better or not, but just because there's, millions of people out there with the knowledge does not mean that they have the talent or the enthusiasm or the,
Yeah. The go-get-itness,
right? To actually carry it through. How many electronics podcasts are there, right? There's 2, because how many people have bothered to get off their ass and do it?
Well,
how many electronics video blogs are there,
2.
It's, well, exactly. There's,
I mean, but the thing is, everything can get commoditized eventually, right? I mean, if there's enough demand out there, I mean, we don't know how much demand there is for this, even like our own little radio show podcast thing. But if you got to imagine if 300,000 people start listening to like the Leo Laporte kind of shows, right? Cross your fingers. Then eventually there are going to be other people that enter the market. That's just kind of like a economic system where it's efficient in that people are going to move towards where it is, or even the kit manufacturers. People have entered the kit making business because they see an opportunity and they try and eke out a living doing that. And so it's the same kind of thing, I think. So I mean, we can say that now, but basically, I think the article I was talking about was from Phil McKinney. He talks about innovation and stuff, and he has a podcast too, actually. But I think the thing is that you kind of have to keep coming up with stuff. So maybe kits are the thing this year, but maybe 10 years down the road, it's a completely hackable solution. So like even like the Chumby, right? Chumby 1 is a full-scale solution that you can hack, but maybe that's the new norm. Or maybe it's something we can't even dream of right now. So, Well,
exactly. But the interesting thing about the Chumby's open source hardware. It's fully open source, but it's the only open source hardware company which is venture capital funded, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So, they're getting, they got venture capital to set that up. Money. Show me the money.
Yeah.
And
we might see that.
Aside here, and interesting aside is that personal manufacturing. I'm a big belief that in 10 years' time, pick and place machines. It's starting to happen now. Pick and place machines and actual manufacture assembly equipment is getting so cheap, and so it's almost getting down to the hobbyist level, where the hobbyist can, if they've got enough space, they can have their own pick and place machine, reflow soldering, the whole paste dispenser, the whole works. They can manufacture their own products in-house, and I can see that happening a lot more rather than the outsourcing side of things. As as the prices come down for these machines, they don't cost $500,000 anymore. They cost $10,000.
Right.
It's
well, I think that's kind of the idea, because then eventually you think about it. So every person, say every electronics hobbyist has an entire setup in their house. Maybe because it's all made in one machine, like CNC and circuit board manufacturer. Somehow that all gets rolled into one thing the size of a MakerBot. If everybody has that, then what's left? I mean, nothing really.
Talent. There you go.
Yeah, there's
talent, enthusiasm, and creativeness.
Right. Exactly.
So, it's not necessarily knowledge. Knowledge is easy to get.
It's important still, but
how you actually apply that knowledge is
very true.
Is a different thing entirely. So, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
we've got another discussion point here. Another bogus energy harvesting scheme. Oh, I love these.
Did you get a chance to read that? It was like, oh.
I've got it open here. I'm having a look at it now. And what is it? A lightning thing?
No, it's not
Something to
lightning.
do
It's
with
just
harnessing lightning.
not even lightning. It's just static electricity out of the air. You know, there's
Right.
ionosphere. There's electrons floating around in the air, and let's just pull them on down. Well,
Sure, yes.
Okay.
With no thought about the actual conversion efficiencies involved and things like
Right.
that, I'm sure. So somebody's probably getting good funding for that, I'm sure. And
I know.
And they're milking that for all its wealth. And then they'll probably start a startup company based on their university research, and then they'll get grants, and then they'll get rich, and then they'll bail out because the company will fail because the idea was a flop. And so the world goes around.
Yep.
There you go.
That happened with
good luck to them.
EE Store. Did you ever? I wrote about them a long time ago, and kind of I called them out.
What's the EE Store?
EE Store was this horrible scam. As far as I know, they still haven't produced a single thing. So you heard it here.
Really?
Chris Gamble is calling you out still, EE Store. You are full of crap. I don't like to use that language that often. I'm not Dave, but you are full of crap. Basically,
I think they're full of shit too.
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go. I don't
All
know
right.
them, but I'll say they're full of shit. Yeah.
Earmuffs.
Well, tell us a story.
Basically, they say, we've got this ultra capacitor technology, and we use this fancy new. It's not even fancy. It's like barium nitrate. I'm not even sure what the component is because I've ignored them. Basically, I think they're so full of it, and they're trying to do this shadowy. We have this great product coming out in 2 years, and we already have contracts with blah blah blah. And basically, for the past 2.5 years, I wrote about this when I started my blog, and so that's been like 2.5, 3 years now, and they still haven't produced a single thing. So they say, we have interest from who's one of the big aerospace guys, not Northrop, the other one, whoever that is.
Northrop Grumman. I don't know. There's Tallies, which is huge, but you're probably talking about the US ones,
yeah,
right?
Sorry, yeah. Whoever the other one is, and they're saying, we already have these military contracts, and basically still there's nothing. There was they were supposed to be put into this Zen car, which is another, like a all electric vehicle, flat on their face.
Yep.
So you heard it. You heard it here. I think they're full of it.
There you go. But somebody got lots of venture capital, and they probably still do.
Oh yeah. Oh, they get tons. Yeah, they were out of Austin. That's why I've heard of them. And they got so much interest to the point where people were buying the stock of the car that was supposed to have it in it because it was supposed to be some awesome technology and it's you hate to see these scams, but whoever gets dumped on when they buy that stock, they deserve it. I'm sorry.
That reminds me, Silverbrook here in Australia. Silverbrook. It's run by this nutcase guy. He's been running it for. His actual name is Kia Silverbrook, so it's his last name. Kia Silverbrook, and it was a top secret research center, which basically his goal in life, I believe, is to become the world's largest patent holder. Okay, surpassing Edison and that Japanese guy and everything. So they've got their own in-house. He came up with one idea for this inkjet print head for use in mobile, micro, high-speed page at a time inkjet print head kind of things. They're like a nano scale silicon print head or something. Anyway, he came up with one idea, and he patents like thousands of different variations of this idea. And he's crazy. And they haven't made a cent in, I don't know how long it's been going, 10, 15 years now. Big companies, all the big printer companies, I won't name names, but they continue to invest in this. They continue to hire. They've got hundreds of employees here in Australia. And they used to be very secretive before they came out about a year ago. And they'll now finally admit how many employees they actually have, because they used to hide how many employees they had. They actually used to, because I went for a job interview there once, and they used to hide how much consumables they buy, how much milk they buy for their employees, lest somebody figure out how much venture capital funding they've got, because if you know how many employees and all that sort of crap. Anyway, they haven't produced a damn thing. They've demoed a couple of print heads, but they're ramping up to full production, but they still haven't produced a damn thing. So,
and you know what?
It's just
guess what, companies? It doesn't matter how many employees you have or how many patents you have. Until you have something that you're selling and you're making money,
Yep.
you're not doing anyone any good, except maybe your owner and whoever's milking it from you, proverbially. So, yeah. That was another...
Exactly. But my hat's off to him, though, for to continue to get venture funding for so long. So
they are just taking the bait.
Yeah, exactly. So for some reason, he's very good at getting money.
Yep.
So there you go. But, haven't produced a damn thing, not a sausage.
Well, that was another thing I get upset about. You see all these, I read the E-Times and the EDN, and, I do it for... not just work to try and get some technical articles, but there's industry news there. It helps here, and it helps for, buying stocks or whatever like that. But I can't stand when all the articles are like, oh, well, Intel missed their guidance, and, Infineon missed their... It's like, this is a bit of a rant from me because, I always read about, like, Warren Buffett and all those guys, and, like, I cannot believe that these companies, basically, they come out and they say, we're going to make $2 billion next year. Why do you say that? Why? It's like, what does that really do for you? It does nothing for you, like all it does is then at the next quarter when you say, oh, we made $1.9 billion, you're worth 10% less for no good reason. It doesn't change anything. It's like, why? What are you doing? Like, why? And you
why do you forecast? Why do you bother doing forecasts?
Yeah. I mean, like...
The market demands it. The market demands.
I guess so.
Forecasts.
But what's the market going to do? What's the market going to do if you don't do that? Like, so say you're not even Intel. Intel's a ridiculous example. Say you're linear technology or analog devices, right? Great analog type of companies. Who cares? Like you're big, but you're not that big. Who do you think people are going to stop buying you because you didn't tell them that you're going to make $300 million next year, and then you make 301?
Sales are going to. Yeah, there are companies like that. The sales are going to be pretty darn consistent. So it's pointless giving exact figures. But I know that's big business for you. Who knows how it?
I think the other thing is too. It's because there's people sitting around in finance departments and executive offices, and they're like, well, we got all these numbers. What do we do with them? I guess we should tell people, huh? It's like
exactly. It generates excitement and it pushes the share price up now.
Right, and then they go cash it out and then buy it when it drops next quarter, right?
That's the evilness of being a public company. It's just I mean, it's so big. The day you build up your company and sell out, just sure, sell out to the company, but don't hang around. Just take your money and go.
Go start another company. Go fund little companies. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So
it gets to a size that's unrealistic. I mean, like I can't even imagine. Like people, like we talked about HP before and how that that guy's making $40 billion or they're making $40 million. And it's like, what?
Exactly, just for leaving.
Yeah. I don't get it. I'll probably never get it because I don't want to do that stuff. But
if you were offered $40 million, you'd take it too, just like me.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah, you would. Come on.
I mean, yes, I would.
Yeah, you'd take it and bugger off. But these people take it and they go, well, that's not enough. I'm going to go do it again and again and again. And, Anyway, what can you do?
Well, we can end the show on that sad note.
I think our 3,600 coulombs are up.
I think they are. Well,
it's been another good one. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully you're checking out the website once in a while. We'll have some pictures up of the labs. I'm reworking my lab actually again, so I'll put up new pictures after that. And Dave's got his.
Well, mine isn't the lab. Mine is just my study. So just expect a photo of a table with a computer and a couple of cushions on the.
That's right.
Sitting on top. So
yeah, and also a reminder: if you have a site or you want to make your profile picture on Facebook or something, the Amp Hour, you can find it on our site at theamphour.com/link here. So that might be a bit unrealistic, but we'd love you for it.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Catch you next time.
Bye, Dave.